Well, when you're trying to differentiate a line, what do? In the Micromasters, we usually got teams of 4, and they tried to jazz things up by giving us the transports. That kind of worked. They've tried to jazz things up with giving us some little base playsets, and that kind of worked. But what's the go-to? Combiners. And this is the Sixbuilder combiner, and he's going to be our focus in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a tremendous day. I am your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot, and I'm very glad to see you. Please check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor, Transformers, Collectors, NL, and Me Everywhere. And of course, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And this, right here, is Sixbuilder, because he's made from the build team, and he's made from 6 guys. And a lot of extra parts. There's a lot of parts forming here. Nevertheless, I think it's sort of ingenious how they took the little itty bitty Micromasters, some of these mold reuses by the way, and found a way to incorporate them into a combiner. Now, this isn't mine, this belongs to friend of the channel, Wayne. And Wayne, if you're watching this and you happen to see that, hey, he has a blue chest. I didn't give him to you with a blue chest. Indeed you didn't. But I looked up the official pieces and the official colors and kind of pick and choose from what you gave me to make this guy accurate. Now, he's not accurate to the original that came out in 1992. This is the recolored reissue of 2002. But it's still kind of cool in its own right. I'd love to see these guys get the Combiner Wars treatment. But maybe they could even get a Micromaster treatment in the Siege line. Who knows? Nevertheless, let's see how good this combiner actually is when we head over to the table and take a closer look at him. And as the name would indicate, this is the Sixbuilder. That's his name, Sixbuilder. Now this is not, just to reiterate, this is not the original release that came out in 1992. There was a complete, like... pardon me, there was a complete repaint of the entire set. They were each released individually in 2002. And these are those repaints. So this is not the original colors, and the stickers that were on the originals have been replaced with paint applications. But it is, nevertheless, a version of the like 6-part combiner. This one is known as Sixbuilder, which I guess is, you know, a pretty self-explanatory name. The build team, and there's 6 of them, unite to form Sixbuilder. And, you know, whenever you want to kind of jazz up a line, why not introduce some combiners, man? So we're going to kind of look at each of these and see what they are as a robot and see what they are as a limb or body part or whatever. The team is made up of Crash Bull, Digger, Iron Lift, Gran Arm, Treader, and, I kid you not, Mixing. Can you guess which one is Mixing? Nevertheless, we're going to start off with Crash Bull, as he is the leader of the team. And so here we have the team leader, Crash Bull. Now the original one, he was sort of a light green and a blue, very reminiscent of a Constructicon, to be honest with you. So I guess when they did the repaint, they changed it up a little bit because it made sense to do that. You know, especially since he's the leader of an Autobot team, just saying. To do the conversion for this guy, it's not hard. You come here, oh, and by the way, he does roll like a champion. You come here and you straighten those legs out, you stand him up, you bring his scoop, I guess, back, you bring out his little arms, and you push right there to get the head up. Let's take a closer look. He's nice colors. The articulation is kind of limited. You can sort of get him in a seated position, but the lower legs are quite thick and they're one piece. This is a very early case of allowances were made so that he could pull off an effective combined mode. Speaking of combined mode, he's the one that you really sort of don't see in combined mode. He makes the back of the figure. And really your putting that back and you're bending that like that. You're going to use this slot right here, and really this is going to sort of fold up over the back, and this is how he's going to be in combined mode. On to member number 2. And here we have Digger. And the differences in color here in this mode aren't too much, other than the crane arm should be blue, and the windows, they're also blue, but like I can forgive it. Actually, I like more of the windows are colored here. I guess on the original it was probably stickers. So I don't know, like I'm cool with this. This is really a variation, as best as I can tell, this is a variation of the same mold that would be used for characters like Big Shot, for example. It's a nice little crane truck. It rolls. The crane arm can move up and down and move out, and it can rotate. So there's actually a fair amount of movement here. When we look at the articulation, it's kind of exactly, or not, the transformation, I'm sorry, it's kind of exactly what you would expect, where we flip out, they're tight, flip out those legs, stand the guy up, bring his arms forward, and here is our little robot. And he is definitely effective. His lower legs are 2 separate pieces. He can get in a seated position. The arms can go forward. They can't swing all the way around. The original had a body that was red with you know, silver face and little silver abdomen. We still have some silver apps here, but we have orange instead of red, and I think the red stood out better, to be honest with you. I kind of like that better. And where we have some gray showing here in robot mode, that was also blue on the original. I think it showed a little bit better. This is fine, but I think the original paint scheme was a little more eye-popping and eye-catching. This guy becomes a right arm, and he does it pretty easily. We come here, we bend him at the waist, we bring those pieces out, we bend this up, and that's it. He's ready to go as a right arm. And speaking of arms, we come next to Gran Arm, who's the comedian of the bunch and not quite as strong. The original was colored quite differently. In this mode, while the tires were black, the entire orange body was red, and these little red sections, which are actually his arms, they were white on the original, or a very light gray. So it was an extremely different color scheme than what we have here. He is very much a little weirdo. And I say that because, like, I don't really like this alt mode. I get what they're going for, but I feel like it's too much of a stretch. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel like it's too much of a stretch for my personal taste. To transform him, well, we will stand him up. We extend out his legs. We bring this whole section down on his back. Bring those out, and his whole head turns around until his face is forward. Let's look at him a little closer. He is a stubby little dude. There's no doubt about it. I don't know, like, he's all right, I guess, I suppose. I don't know, it's a stretch for a front end loader, it's a stretch for a robot, but he makes the, like, main torso, the front chest region of this combiner. See if I can remember how to do this now. Might need to collapse the legs in behind. I think we'll see closer when we like get this guy together, but I think that's the way it's supposed to go. And we're halfway home with Iron Lift. Now the original was very different. With the yellow body, the truck mode itself was white and the crane was blue. This time we have still some yellow on the body, but the truck of course is blue with a gray crane. Now I said earlier that I thought the mold for Big Shot was kind of reworked and reused for another figure, but I actually think that it's more a relative of this version of the mold. So, you know, here we have him rolling in terms of a conversion. Oh, and while this can also bend, it does turn. We can get it out of the way. We can fold down the legs, which are very tight. I just pop this off. We can fold up that crane section. We can bring those arms forward a little bit, and here we have him now in his robot mode. You might find him back heavy. I do, so I put down the crane to give him like extra height. I don't know, like he's a nice looking dude. His lower legs are two separate pieces, so he can bend one knee without the other. The arms cannot go around all the way, unfortunately. Now iron lift becomes our other arm. And again, it's pretty simple. We bend this down and put him like this. And there you go. He should be ready to go. And probably pretty predictably, we have mixing up next. Who's the cement mixer? I'm going to put him in robot mode and of course limb mode. In this mode, he rolls fine. His original color scheme again was a lighter green. It was more reminiscent of Mixmaster, so I could see why they made the change that they did to this darker green. In terms of converting him, we stand him up, we extend down his legs, and we bring his arms forward and we just stand the guy up. It's pretty simple. You'll notice that there's a little circle up there kind of above his head. That's what's used to connect him in leg mode. Getting him to leg mode, well, that's pretty easy. There is a lot compromised here for his robot mode. The arms, they're somewhat limited, but I mean, it's just because of the way they are. They're fine for G1. The legs are one solid piece again. It's a bit disappointing because they're one solid piece, but I get it because we have a mixing drum there. To get him in his leg mode is super-de-duper-de simple, because all we do is put these back down, collapse them up like a truck, and turn him around, and now he's a leg. And when it comes to the individual bots, we end things off with Treader. And the original Treader was black with some nice yellow detailing down the side. He was pretty cool looking, pretty slick looking, to be honest with you. I really kind of dug him. This guy, little bit on the disappointing side, I think. A little bit, maybe. We stand him up and, oh, what do you know? He has legs down there already. His little arms, we can take those out and take those out. And we flip that down and we pull up his head, and it's a unique conversion, but boy, oh boy, is his articulation limited. I think that's all one piece. Oh, we can extend that, but oh, so not great. Probably the weakest Micromaster I've ever looked at, because there's so much hindering the bottom of the guy. Like, it looks fine, but it doesn't really function fine. I don't know. It's too bad that this guy isn't cooler. I'd like to see an update on him, something that actually functions and works. In terms of getting him in a mode for leg, well, you just put him back into truck. Put that down. You straighten it up. Straighten his little arm pieces down. Oh gosh, you put him back like this. You're going to use this circle up here. You're going to turn him around and he's going to be a leg. And so here we have the team all ready to be combined, I guess. Sort of. Kind of. There's accessories that needs to go with these guys. And the accessories kind of start out as their own vehicle. So we're going to start with the accessories in their vehicle mode and kind of take them apart and get this guy put together. Now, as with all of the individual bots, we have the sections that go with this guy repainted. These are kind of like general pieces that are used across a lot of these combiners, and it's easy to kind of mix and match them for kind of whatever look you want. This is the like combined pieces that are supposed to be included with this guy. Not to say you can't use different feet or a different chest piece, you certainly can, but these are the pieces that are supposed to be part of him. And when they're all together in this mode, I feel like it's very akin to like Big Powered. You know, I feel like it's that sort of a style of jet. What do we exactly have here? Well, the very first thing we have is this. It's his feet. If we take those off the sides. Then down underneath here, you can see that we have hands that are held on over pegs. So we take the hand off and the hand off. And we have two hands. Then we can take this section back right here and turn it around because it's going to be the combined mode head. This is the upper torso. This is the lower torso and legs. And we take this piece out and it's going to be his blaster. The basic torso is this. This is what we have for a basic torso, but it's not where we're going to start. Since we have 2 feet, let's start with the feet. And we bring in mixing, and there's a little peg hole right there, and there's a peg right here. And we put him on. And the same here, a little peg hole right there and a peg right there, and we put him on. Now, we have a peg hole in behind and a peg hole in behind, just kind of in under the grill. Those two will be used to house pegs here and here. Little tiny pegs, rather delicate. Before we go on, I just wanted to show you that there's a peg here and a peg right there. Like I said, they're small. You'll also notice that the like thighs, the like lower part of the body here is pretty hollow. Certainly no knees or hips or articulation of any sort in the legs. Nevertheless, here we have some of Sixbuilder already done. Now, the next part, the front of his chest, where we have a nice Autobot symbol. There's a peg hole back here, and there's a peg way in there. So you take this, and we should be able to squeeze it in there. When we come around to the back, we have another peg right there, and taking the team leader and using the peg hole here, he fits on right there and comes up over the back. So now we have 4 of the members incorporated. All that leaves are the arms. And here you see one of the arms. We're going to use this peg hole here to affix the arm into position. But the forearm and fist go attached right here. If we look at the arm piece, this piece goes on over right there. It attaches in like that. And now we have an arm good to go. And another arm good to go. If you want, at this point you can even take the other piece and put it in there as his blaster. And wow, have we come a long way. In the end, we take the peg hole here, there's a peg here on the side, and we put it on over. We do the same on the other side. And here we have Sixbuilder in his combined mode. Now, to be fair, you could take this piece and bring it down, and I guess you could fold this piece up if you want. The articulation is pretty limited. The head, it can come off, but it can go left and right. It's not going up or down. The arms, they can go around all the way, maybe not all the way around, but they can go a fair way around. The body likes to come apart because it's just 2 pieces slotted together. As I showed you, the whole lower body is just one hollow piece, so he has no knees, no like forward leg movement, backward leg movement, nothing like that, nothing fancy like that. He can move his head and his arms can go around, and I guess his arms can go out to the side, technically, and I guess they have a little bit of, no, I guess that's it. I guess that's about it. You know, it is what it is. It's cool that the Micromasters could combine in this fashion, and they do try to do a lot here in having these 3 modes in these little tiny guys. I applaud the effort. And they're cool in their own right. They're nice for display. Not so great for play. The colors look fine. I'll call it a 10, why not? The articulation, you know, some of it's average, some of it's below average. A 5, 5.5. And in this mode, the articulation, 3, maybe 4. You know, it's nothing that great. Although, I suppose, it's akin to the articulation of the original G1 combiners. Kinda, sorta. Maybe even a little bit more limited. Nevertheless, it's a cool looking guy. Now, there were a bunch of these kind of put out. So in the future, I'm very quickly just going to show them. I'm not really going to concentrate on conversions because they all kind of work the same way. But we'll at least get a look at the figures. Overall score for this guy, it's about a 5, I suppose. It's really good at being average. Yes. The Sixbuilder is uninspired. It's it's a fine display piece. It's kind of cool that the little guys can merge to give us a figure that's, I don't know, deluxe-ish size, maybe? I don't know. Let's see how big this guy is. Here, let's take Evasion Mode Optimus Prime. He's a little bit shorter than Evasion Mode Optimus Prime. I want to say that combined, he's probably about the height of, say, Classics Universe, Sideswipe, Sunstreaker, about that. Like, he would probably be a large deluxe in terms of size. He does not have the articulation of a deluxe. I suppose I'm glad that the arms move, but overall, it's just really good at being average. Now, that being said, there have been kind of a few versions of the Sixbuilders and different characters. And the next time that we look at one of these, and there's a few to look at, I'll kind of just show the figures, show the combined mode. I'm not really going to go through the transformation and stuff again, because if you've seen one, you've seen them all in that regard. But we'll sort of see who comprises what and what sort of characters we come up with, and kind of what Sixbuilder characters were kind of used as Micromaster versions of combiners that we all know and love. I know, it sounds confusing, man. I know, but stick with me. You'll see what I mean as we go on. Nevertheless, it's neat for what it is, I guess. Let me know what you think about the little Micromaster Sixbuilders. You know I love to hear from you guys. I appreciate you dropping by, giving me some of your precious time, and I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit right here inside the videos.